Welcome back, Swifties. Today we're checking out Peter from the new album. It's a kind of continuation, I believe, from what some of you have been saying, of Cardigan, Betty and August. Maybe even part of a new trilogy, or a different trilogy containing Cardigan, was it, I think? So I'm already expecting Peter Pan references, I suppose, isn't it? Which is a story about, the kid, the boy that never grew up. Interesting thing I know about Peter Pan, the word Pan is the god of all possibility, or something like that. Which I suppose, when you remain young, that is what you have, isn't it? Is ultimate possibility. But at some point you do have to sacrifice all of those possibilities and choose, I suppose, a path. And maybe you don't have to stay on that path. Maybe, your aim can move and be adjusted, can't it, as you move forward. Perhaps you can even take some steps back, but it's important to grow up, isn't it, and to move forward with purpose, because that's what life is for, I think, isn't it? To learn and to grow and to experience and live in the real world.
Forgive me, Peter, my lost fearless leader, in closets like cedar, preserved from when we were just kids. Is it something I did?
It's nice, man. Nice piano, isn't it? I'm a fan of these kind of this way of rhyming. I'm not sure if it's more. It's more akin to maybe sort of rap or hip hop music. The rhymes, rather than the more traditional way, I suppose, of rhyming on the ends of the lines. I like lyrics that contain rhymes like that, like double syllable rhymes within the line. It's really cool.
Forgive me, Peter, my lost fearless leader, in closets like cedar, preserved from when we were just kids. Is it something I did?
Hang on, that's on the end of the line, isn't it? My lost fearless leader, in closets like cedar, preserved from when we were. Well, I like that as well. It's not what I was thinking of, but it's still great, isn't it? And I know that we were and then is not at the end of the line. Yeah, it's nice anyway.
Forgive me, Peter, my lost fearless leader, in closets like cedar, preserved from when we were just kids.
I suppose it's like,
is it something I did?
It's like 4 rhymes, isn't it, in a row, which is unusual.
The goddess of timing once found us beguiling. She said she was trying. Peter, was she lying? My ribs get the feeling she did.
I love that as well. That's a cool device that I've used in some of my songs. It is that, like, the my ribs part, it feels like rhythmically that should be like the end of a thought, but it's the start of the next one on the next line. So I kind of love that's the way you can split lines between 2 different things as well.
The goddess of timing once found us beguiling. She said she was trying. Peter, was she lying? My ribs get the feeling she did, and I didn't wanna calm down. I thought it was just goodbye for now. You said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Words from the mouths of babes, promises oceans deep, but never to keep.
This is a lovely, lovely song, man. I think I'm enjoying, as some of you have pointed out, I think the stuff off this new album, I'm really enjoying the maturity in the songwriting, I suppose. And perhaps that's unfair to say, of course, because, you know, she's had big hits before, so maybe that's not the right way to put it. And I've liked some of the other stuff, the earlier stuff. But perhaps this sort of stuff speaks to me more, perhaps lyrically, musically. But this is just really cool, isn't it? I like. I won't go back again, but the chorus lines that were just repeated then, like three, four times, whatever it was. That's great in songs as well. You know, when it's deserved, when you feel that like something's just, as a writer, you know, they need saying more than once. And I don't think I've ever made the conscious decision to repeat that, but it just feels right to do it in certain situations, and it works in this, doesn't it? And then these bits of great words from the mouths of babes, promises oceans deep, but never to keep. It's I suppose that there are certainties you feel as a youngster, as a youth, and maybe even promises you make to yourself or to others that perhaps you don't always keep. And why do you not keep them? You know, is it because you're not very good at keeping promises, or is it because you're just the person that made those promises quickly evaporates or morphs or changes into something else? It's almost like a tragedy, isn't it, of growing up, is that often you don't know what you don't know. So when you're young, you may feel like you know who you are, maybe, or you know what you're about, even if you're aware that you don't know it all, you know, if that makes sense. If you understand there's more to know, but then as you know more about the world and about yourself, and you experience a thing or two, the person that you are or were dies in many ways, right? And I think that's good and right and healthy. Perhaps there are exceptions, you know, where through life circumstances people, you know, they get baked and done a lot quicker than others. And there's such a thing as old souls out there, isn't there? You know, I think we've all met some of them. You know, they're just wise and with it from very early on. But here's an interesting thought and idea, isn't it? That I'm a big fan of Doctor Who. I don't know how many of you Swifties are, but I love the idea of regeneration in that show. As a metaphor for life, you know, and And if you don't know, the main character, the Doctor, when he's mortally wounded, he can regenerate every cell in his body and change his appearance, and even to some degree, his personality changes, But then he was born again, and waltzes off to have more adventures, and more experience, and in David Tennant's final episodes as the Doctor, there's a scene where I'll paraphrase this poorly because I haven't watched those episodes for a few years, but he speaks about that it feels like dying, and some new guy who goes waltzing off in his place, and perhaps we can all relate to that, when great experiences have occurred in our own lives. Maybe that's death of a loved one, or the end of a relationship, or just events or circumstances that make us shift our understanding and perception of ourselves and others and things, that it can feel like, the person you were, perhaps the innocence you had, maybe that was gone. And then in Matt Smith's final episode, he says something like, we all change when you think about it. We're all different people all the way through our lives, and that's okay, so long as you remember all of the people that you used to be. And then he goes on to say, I will not forget one line of this. I think I'd maybe paraphrase that one slightly. It's closer than the David Tennant one anyway. But it's a fantastic way to look at life, I think, or a fantastic metaphor for life, because it's certainly how I feel, Whereas at my core, I understand I'm the same, as I was when I was a little kid. And throughout my life, I've gathered, loads of crap, some of it that I don't need, some of it that's been a hindrance to my progress, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is, all of them really. And then it's a case of discarding and organising, I suppose, as you get older. It's a complex and beautiful thing anyway. That's quite a long digression. Let's get back to Peter.
Never to keep. Are you still a mind reader, a natural scene stealer? I've heard great things, Peter, but life was always easier on you.
A natural scene stealer,
than it was on me. And sometimes it gets me when crossing your jet stream. We both did the best we could do underneath the same moon in different galaxies.
The way she sung that line, underneath the same moon, as well, that was
and
lovely.
I didn't wanna hang around. We said it was just goodbye for now. You said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Words from the mouths of babes, promises oceans deep, but never to keep.
Lovely piano going on.
Never to keep. That I waited, but I let the lamp burn as the men masqueraded. I hoped you'd return with your feet on the ground. Tell me all that you've learned, 'cause love's never lost when perspective is earned. And you said you'd come and get me, but you were 25, and the shelf life of those fantasies has expired. Lost to.
These are great, man. This is I know she's famous for these bridges, these middle eights, man, and what a great. It's a sentiment that I suppose everybody can relate to, If not a first love, then a great love, or just somebody that's had some kind of impact on you in your life, man, and perhaps you spend far too long thinking about that, or holding on to that, and the past is often viewed through rose-tinted glasses, isn't it? So as time goes, quite often I think we maybe remember and maybe even amplify or romanticize the things that were great. The things that were great. And at some point you do just have to let it go, don't you, in order to move forward.
I won't confess that I waited, but I let the lamp burn as the men masqueraded. I hoped you'd return with your feet on the ground. Tell me all that you've learned, 'cause love's never lost when perspective is earned. And you said you'd come and get me, but you were 25, and the shelf life of those fantasies has expired. Lost to the lost boys chapter of your life. Forgive me, Peter, please know that I try to hold on to the days when you were mine. But the woman who sits by the window has turned out the light.
I think what I like, what I was saying earlier, about the maturity, I suppose, in a songwriting, and I said that wasn't fair, but I think that's why I guess that's why I am relating more and enjoying more the more recent songs in a catalogue, because I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm not an old dude either. There's still plenty of time left, but I suppose there's a maturity in it. And perhaps the stuff when she was younger, more country, more pop. Not that I can not appreciate some of that and dig some of that, but it's I'm not the audience for it, am I? She's not telling the stories that I can relate to, I suppose, like in all too well. Which we can check out my 2 reactions to those. But there's I suppose an edge that I'm enjoying in this more recent stuff. Yeah, it's cool stuff, man. Good sentiments, nice melodies, some just pushing the variations further. The arrangements are a little bit different. Enjoying it.
You said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up. You said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up. You said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. Words from the mouths of babes, promises, oceans deep, but never to keep.
I suppose it's like a very sort of country. I know she started out as a country artist, didn't she? And I guess the way she tells stories is probably heavily influenced by that. But yeah, some interesting lyrics in there. I think that's my favourite thing about Peter is the lyrics. I think, as I'm finding probably with a lot of her work, I think as much as I can point out, the piano's nice, and in some of the other songs, the melodies are nice. She doesn't hit me emotionally, musically, the way some of my favourite artists do. So I guess the in for me is is the lyrics, is the storytelling, which I suppose is something that all you guys dig as well, you know, as well as the music and the melodies that I expect hit you in a special way, you know, which is awesome. But anyway, guys, quite a long one, this, isn't it? But I'm enjoying finding more out about Taylor Swift, you know, and why she's who she is, you know, and why she's so beloved. But anyway, take care of yourselves, guys. Have a great week. I'll see you soon.